My name is Oscar.
My name is Carl.
And this is Who Would Watch This? Welcome to Who Would Watch This, the podcast where we watch a film, chat about the film, and try and figure out who would watch this.
Today we're talking about Flight Risk, which currently has a 5.3 on IMDb, a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 2.1 on Letterboxd. Oscar, what's the plot?
A pilot transporting an air marshal accompanied a fugitive to trial. As they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tensions soar and trust is tested, as not everyone on board is who they seem.
You're kidding. You're kidding.
I'm not kidding, Carl. There's
Wow.
no joke here.
What
okay?
a setup.
I will not JK, okay? How about that? I will not. Carl, before we fly into this film,
Let's risk going back in time to figure out
at who we thought would watch
it.
this.
Yeah.
God, we're in sync. Carl, we have recorded this twice now. We will be doing Flight Risk. I'm on Apple TV right now. I can see you can buy it. So we will purchase this film.
I'm not contributing.
Okay, that's odd. I'll beam you. Okay, how about that? We are doing Flight Risk next week. Are we excited? Are we keen? What do we think?
I'm very excited. You'll need a pilot season, and that's what I'm most excited about. Marky Mark is bald. Mel Gibson is making this trash. I don't know what this is. All the reviews are bad.
There's so many beautiful ingredients. You're just like it can't not be good.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful cupcake recipe, and it's just a smelly film. That's the output. But I can't wait to watch it.
A recipe for a movie to end up on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like if they were determining, I really want a movie to be on Who Would Watch This. This is all the ingredients.
And studios have not been able to perfect it until now. Like, there's just it's just all working for them. And God, so proud of them for being able to get on this podcast. Carl, who do we think is going to be watching Flight Risk? Also, can I say, every single person that I've told we're doing this film has gone, what's that? I show them the poster. They go, oh, y'all need a pilot? And immediately sold. So I guess who would watch this? People that love that tagline. But who else do you think would watch this?
Look, I think it's definitely going to be for, who's... You know what's crazy is you can't even be like, it's for people that like Mel Gibson movies, because it's such a departure from Hacksaw Ridge and Apocalypto and Passion of the Christ.
I feel like
Braveheart.
there's such like epic creative choices that, you know, lean into very much like spirituality and everything like that, but, you know, have this sort of macho, it's sort of like a bit Clint Eastwood, where it's like, it seems from the outside very macho, but I assume if you look a bit inward, it might be a bit more
just
nuanced.
Seems also deeply loud. Like, one of the things that's so funny about like recent Clint Eastwood movies is even like Juror Number 2 and Gran Torino and things like that, they're all weirdly quiet movies where he's just like, we're just moving through this plot just like this. Yeah. We're not trying to enthrall you. We're just letting it happen. And this trailer's like a lot of like, you all need a pilot?
Mel Gibson with a gun just going, firing blanks. Just like, you gotta watch Flight Risk. Bang! Bang! Bang!
Everybody on this set is doing Russian roulette with me right now. And if you die, we get your 401k for the budget.
That's how we do it. Okay? I'm hoping we can get Marky Mark, but I don't know who's going to be the lead. We'll find out.
We don't know. We could kill Topher Grace tonight. And then we just have to get another random person from 70 Show.
Oh, God. I just heard the news. We lucked out with Topher.
What do you mean? How many of them are good? Not a lot?
Where's Topher's good? Okay. I just shot him. Oh, bother. I guess we'll get Ashton, but it isn't a good choice.
Yeah, look, I guess it is for people very specifically, because I do think if this trailer looked better, it would be for me. It's for people that would want to watch Carry On. Like do you enjoy like a 90-minute romp? It's speed, Carry On. There's a new one coming out in cinemas that I saw the trailer for the other day called Drop. Which, have you seen the trailer for that one?
What's Drop?
They must be pissed off that Carry On came out. It's like the same plot with a woman at a restaurant and she gets airdropped that she needs to kill her blind date.
Great.
Fun. But I just went, that looks like fun.
I love that just like we figured out how to use phones in films.
They finally got it.
It's just dropping.
It's airdropping.
It's just like kill yourself. I'm like, bother.
No.
Is this an Apple ID thing?
I'll tell you what, it must be taking Hollywood by storm, because they're like, what is that, a single location? Thank you. Oscar, who do you think would watch this?
Ooh, it's a toughie. Here's the thing. I hope it's fun. I hope it's silly. I am confused mainly why everyone's done this, you know? Because I feel like if it was just the trailer and Marky Mark, I'd be like, that's cool, that's fine. I think because Mel Gibson's behind it, I'm a bit like, ooh, is this just like a cash grab? I don't really understand it. I'm keen to watch it. I'm hoping it's for just, it is almost knows how silly it is, and it's be able to do the bit bombastic action, and it just keeps doing silly turns each layer. If it keeps doing that, that's fun. I just hope it's not bland. If it's bland, then I just feel like that's just such a waste.
But
of a concept.
Mark Wahlberg's he's bald.
Yeah, that's the thing. I hope it's
He's
him.
bald.
I hope it's him in a plane just being like, you can go nuts for 90 minutes. Go crazy. Yeah, so I don't really know who's going to watch it.
Gotta be fans of the Transformers franchise, but just the Marky Mark ones.
No, I think Boogie Nights fans are going to really dig their teeth into this one, okay?
The ones that loved Lone Survivor and Deepwater Horizon. This is for you.
This is for you.
Oscar.
Carl.
Flight
Bloody risk. Y'all need a pilot? Guess what? I'm behind the seat. Okay. Wow. Thoughts, feelings? How are we doing this early morn?
This movie is for me.
Yep.
Such valleys and such peaks. It is so
like the mountains they're passing in the plane.
Exactly. It's things of like, oh, whoa, what's going on here? Followed by, we're still chatting.
It is upsetting because without going into the film so quickly, it is a film that is like, we have got the most exciting 34 seconds and we need to make this 90 minutes. Okay. What is the cheapest thing we can do to fill the empty space so we can get to that interesting 30 seconds?
We have gotten Mark Wahlberg, who is so excited to be the weirdest fucking character on screen, but he has requested he sit for most of the film. We must work the movie around that.
He has not requested that. He's gone, I will do 10 minutes. And I've gone, great. It's a single location and you're in the plane. Great. I will get knocked out thrice. And I'll be in it. I will not be in the film. I'll be a body that is away from the camera for 20 minutes at a time. But when I'm on that screen, I'm going to perform.
I have the most beautiful stand-in. He is gorgeous. You will want him in the background the entire film.
Do we think the stand-in was bald because it's the only one they could afford? And they were like, Mark, I'm so sorry. It's actually cheaper for us to put you in a bald cap.
Well, I've read that Mark insisted on shaving because he's shaved his own head.
That's a bald cap.
It says he shaved. It was his idea because he didn't
simple
want to
lie.
wear a
That's
bald
a
cap.
simple lie. That's the worst bald cap I've ever seen in my life. That looks atrocious.
I'm sorry, but that's the IMDb trivia, that it was his idea to make the character
it's IMDb
bald.
trivia?
Yeah.
Humble apologies.
That's right.
I did not
You
understand.
can't take
I didn't realize you had a source. I didn't realize you had a source.
About 4 people have upvoted it, so it must be true.
Fuck me, Dad. Okay, well now I feel like a goose because if that's the source we got, I will stand by this. It's one of the worst bald caps I've ever seen. He's got a wrinkled forehead and then this perfect line.
It looks like
where
it looks like he shouldn't be bald. It looks like he's got like a good, if he's shaved it back, there's a good area where you go, no, there's regular stubble growth there. He looks like he's fine. Why would he wear it?
It's also his head. It's also head is like an extra like inch higher. Like I mean, he must have had like a long hair for the. I'm not even cutting the hair.
Well, so the thing I couldn't understand about this character concept is was he afraid they would recognize him and thus needed to wear a bald cap, or is the character so self-conscious that he simply wears a toupee at all times?
That's great, because here's the thing. We should get into the characters, but we'll start with Marky Mark. Let's just go for the plot.
We shouldn't. I'd like to take it all the way back to the beginning.
Okay, fantastic.
What the fuck are these production companies? Have you heard of any of these?
No.
These are symbols and letters I've never seen.
I love this film because this film feels like a con. They are like, it's asking the film, what's the cheapest we can make a film for that looks like a film? And they've gone, all right, well, we definitely need like 3 actors who are actors, and we need a director. Other than that, we don't need shit all. We don't need goddamn shit all. Because it's 2 locations, period. It is the plane, and then we start off in this motel, which I'm pretty sure might be AI generated. What do we think about this?
The hotel is off.
Yeah.
Everything's off. I'm going to say right now, everything about the movie is off. This is some of the weirdest dialogue scattered through the entire movie. It's really off. Nothing feels right.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Well, it feels like one of those, whatever those Bruce Willis films are in. You know, they're sort of like cheap
does.
LA. They're like just stolen for the DVD cover. However, this is technically a film, but is also sort of wearing that skin. So it's just like this dingy, like, it's definitely just a studio, 2 walls, if that, with a bed. I don't even think it's a bed. It might just be a box.
Yeah.
But then
And
you've got
a weird CGI moose. Weird that they were like, no, we definitely need a moose so he can say he's in Alaska. And it's like, well, why can't somebody else just say he's in Alaska or just have it on the screen saying Alaska?
Yeah, I
if
don't
you're
mind.
that worried about us not knowing he's in Alaska.
It's also, I feel like, feeling like it's taken maybe just a lot from Breaking Bad. And suppose of Breaking Bad, it feels like they're just like, it's the plot of he's just doing Breaking Bad. He's just sort of an accountant. That's all I need to know. It's sort of his vibe. But he's hiding out in Alaska. Topher Grace.
Yeah. This character is simply the most annoying man.
We've got a trifecta, and I do think the film was brave for this. One, he is a quippy little loser nerd who's Topher Grace, and he's just like, oh, bother me. Can I even be arrested even more than this? And you're like, okay, whatever. We've got a no-nonsense cop. She doesn't take nothing for nobody. However, she could be swooned. And then we've got Marky Mark in the corner eating like paper like a dog. And he's just shitting everywhere. He's like, this is the film. And you throw those 3 characters into a plane, you're going to get some 90 minutes of hijinks.
Yeah. It's sort of like, the actress came in and was like, I'm playing it like this. And I'm very by the book, and it's very straight, and frankly, it's not very enthralling.
Yeah.
And then Topher Grace has gone, God, if you're doing that performance, I'm going to have to be up here so that there's energy in the film. And then Mark Wahlberg's come in and been like, you're the hero and you're at a 10 already?
I brought a live gun to set. I don't care. I'm going to bring it in. I've got it here. Mel, can I bring? Yep, I've got it. It's there. So I'm in my pocket. I'm going to take the safety off and let's roll.
Yeah. I got my own writer in. He's only good at doing gay rape jokes. That's all. That's 90% of how I'll talk. That's all I want to say.
I had to look because apparently this has been a blacklist script. Do you know this?
I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
Just from it being a single location, 90-minute script.
And I was like, that's crazy that is, because some of the dialogue's dreadful. It seems like Mel and Marky Mark have ad-libbed some things. Guess which ones they've ad-libbed.
You'll need a pilot?
No, that was the only thing that made it a blacklist. They're like
fair.
that worked.
That's a line for the agents. They knew they were like, he is going to say that unlike any other line in the film, and it's going to stick with you.
We'll get into it, but he does swap back to his southern accent that line. He's like, it actually just works. It needs to be. I think they must have gone, that's for the trailer, surely.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're in the motel. She knocks down the door. She's like, you're under arrest. He's like, I'll be a witness, but I have to go by plane back to America. The film starts.
Yeah. Weird to even bother with this whole opening.
Yeah.
Because him being like, I'll be a witness. I'm like, this isn't how it works. Crazy. She's like, I'll make a call now. He's caved immediately. Okay, 3 days, we'll have you in court.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, all right.
It is odd. I feel like it would have been fine just opening with them
On the tarmac.
Yeah, on the tarmac.
I don't care.
I feel like
when
that
it's
would-
these types of movies, give me excessive exposition
But I think
at the beginning.
100%. But I even think I think a little bit more impressive because then you can kind of be like, look, guys, we just did everything on tarmac on a plane.
Yeah.
Whereas they've got, and a motel for 3 minutes. And you'd be like, oh, okay. I feel like it'd be more fun if it literally is one location. Because the location they've chosen is cheap as hell. Anyway, we get in. Here's the premise. It's a shitty little cargo plane because it's not Miami, it's Alaska.
They really want to let you know this is not Miami. It is Alaska.
The whole film's like, you think Alaska has private jets? Get out of here. We have to use a shitty cargo plane. I'm all in it, by the way. I'm like, they are setting up like, all right, no GPS. It's a little shitty plane. Just go.
Things are off immediately. I'm shocked they get on. They don't even, the weirdest thing is that they let themselves onto the plane without meeting anyone else at the airport. They essentially go, that's our plane, and they hop on. And even the pilot's like, crazier, let yourself on.
100%. Marky Mark, who is, we'll find out who, but he starts going, I've never had anybody enter my plane before. And to be perfectly honest, he's right. It is rude. It's wrong. Why is there not more cops? I get why they have not gone, let's load it up with cops, but it all feels like we've done this very specific thing so this film can work.
They've done a great setup in which they go, there's simply only 3 chairs, so no other character could be here. Even if we wanted there to be a 4th character, there's nowhere for them to sit.
It's impossible. I'm so sorry.
This is simply a 3-seater plane.
It's like, oh, that's a cool, fun concept, but they are like, but it is a house of cards. So if you touch anything, this whole falls apart. But at the moment, it's glued together. It's fine.
Well, one of the big shames is you just go, okay, so if there's only the three of them here, nothing can happen until the end of the film. There's no way that they will kill any of these characters or put anyone in any excessive danger, because this is all of who we have to sustain 90 minutes.
Well, because I think I was like, oh, maybe they might, crash land or something. But the fact that I think... Who's the cop's name again? The main... I didn't really... I think it's Mallory or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Who want to call her?
We can call her... Look, why don't we put in even the tiniest bit of effort and we'll look it up. It is...
I wrote it down, but I kept...
It is Madeline. Well done.
Good. Thank you.
Madeline Harris.
Madeline is pretty much goes, we're going to be at the court in 82 minutes. I went, that's the runtime of the film. We're going to be in the plane for the whole goddamn time, aren't we? Let's get into it, Carl. We've got a band of characters. Marky Mark walks in with a southern accent, and the film begins.
This is... Thank God for him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, thank God for Marky Mark here. He is coming in so hot. He is not suiting the material. He is not doing... He's not doing it right, but he's doing his own thing, and that's enough to sustain
100%
the beginning of the film before they knock him out. And you go, wait, I'm stuck with the other two now? That was the biggest downfall of the movie, to cater the entire marketing around him and have him essentially, other than setting up like sort of the end of the first act and the drama of the situation, him being like a non-antagonist the rest of the film. When his character dies at the end, I couldn't even really care that he died, because I was like, to me, he didn't really do anything.
No.
So why was I that rooting against him?
Totally. Oh, I'm rooting for him. Every time he's like awake and ready to like start like gnashing like a dog, I'm all in for it. Yeah. But it does suck. He gets knocked out, and you're just like, oh no, I don't care about that.
He only really has two lines. He just sort of sits there and goes, I'm gonna have fun with you. Yeah. I'm having an enjoyable time. I'm gonna enjoy it. Yeah. I'm gonna enjoy it. And
Constantine's just like, I can't wait to put my penis in your butt. I'm going to do it. Yeah. Ooh, I'm going to do it.
Crazy is also like the Topher Grace, like, you can be the man or the woman. It's just like fun that he's like, I'll do everything.
I'm a switch. I'm a switch.
He's I'll do whatever you want. We'll have fun together.
Either way, it's not consensual, but I will switch. That's the thing.
I fucked your mum too. Believe it or not, she's a player in all of this as well.
It is, listen, it's show don't tell, because he is just like, when I like to play with my food. And at one point, most of the film is just people calling up and going, hey, by the way, he eats people. And it's like, oh, that's pretty spooky. Okay.
Yeah. One of the things I definitely want to bring up about the movie is I don't believe any phone call is happening. Nope. It is, unfortunately, some of the worst phone acting from everybody on the other line.
Yeah.
And it might not be their fault. It might just be the really, really bad dialogue. Like, very straight to the point. Huh? What do you mean? Someone's a mole? Let me investigate. Like, just hanging up. And she's always like, thank you. It feels like they're not having those conversations on set.
Oh, 100%. Now, I will, this is my not spoiler, but I did go, because I just didn't understand how this film all came together. So I was like, I need to look up behind the scenes or anything like that. One, I do think it is fun. They've essentially put a plane up in the air with a big blue screen. I was like, that looks great, because they're just them shaking it around. It is, and I was like, what is Mel Gibson's contribution to this film? Because I just think when you look at his directing, it's normally a bit more personal, he's got a bit more blocking, whereas this film just feels like it's going through the motions, and it's doing a fine job.
He's genuinely made, regardless of the quality of the films that I think he's made, and any of his actual personal things he's done, he's given a lot of spectacle to some films.
Yes.
So it's crazy that this movie, if you had told me it was directed by a first-time director, I'd go, oh, well, that makes sense.
That makes sense. I mean, it is a lot of bland shots inside of it, and then stock footage or just a plane from a wide angle.
Yeah, just like a CG plane. There is, because nobody can stand in this plane, there's just some shots where it looks like they've lined it up to make it look like Marky Mark's about to fart onto the characters. His butt's always in their face. I went, there's no... Why have you gone for such a weird wide here? It is odd. It is so odd.
So I looked at behind the scenes, and it does see... I don't want to talk ill of the film or Mel Gibson's directing, But in one shot, it's him walking into set in board shorts, sitting down, and then someone hands him a mic, and then he's pretty much just going, yeah, more mean now this time, Mark. Just rawr, rawr. And then just his talking head being like, this film really attracted me. I think he's almost, it's very odd. It seems like they've hired Mel Gibson to just sort of look like he's directing and then be like, look, he's directed by Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And that's enough of a marketing thing.
It honestly wouldn't surprise me just in the sense of like the way that those Bruce Willis movies were made, and they just get Bruce Willis for a really short amount of time.
Yeah.
They scatter him through the movie, market the movie around him, but he's not the main character. If they're now trying that with directors where
I
they
think
go,
so.
somebody else will direct it, you will come to set every day,
Yeah.
you will not have to do anything, you will get a nice fat paycheck,
Yeah.
and you'll get to promote a movie and it'll look like you're still active in Hollywood,
Totally.
even though no one wants to work with you.
Yeah.
And he's gone, yep.
That's what it feels like the
It
whole
does.
time. Yeah.
It is simply crazy that a Academy Award winner has directed this film.
And like last film, like it seemed like, I don't know what he did, because he did Hacksaw.
Hollywood was sort of like, he's back with
Yeah,
Hacksaw Ridge, which
right?
was a movie I did not like. And I was shocked people were like, it's great. It's so...
We've forgiven him.
Have you seen it?
No, I've never.
It's hilariously violent and hilariously Christian, but so hilariously violent to the point where you go, this is so violent, it is hard for me to believe you're trying to tell a serious story. Like, the violence level is like... the night scene in Monty Python all the time. And you're going, so violently, it's a comedy, but internally, it's meant to be a war drama. It's really bizarre. The man loves violence, is the other thing. Passion of the Christ, super violent. Braveheart, violent.
Yeah.
So it's also odd that this movie is not violent, like, at all.
No.
It's mostly violent against the woman. Like, things get really violent always with her.
Oh, yeah. A bit of strangling and all that sort of stuff. There is one scene where he's got this bullet wound. It looks like they've just, not CGI, not even CGI, just put a graphic thing of just like a blood spurt PNG.
Yeah, it does, doesn't
right?
it?
I was like, what is this? This is very odd. But yeah, the film is strange. I don't know. I don't think he directed this. It's very odd.
Did you see that quote from him? I love this, is they got into the editing room and he went, it's only 90 minutes?
I did not see that.
I get that is. It's just that he was like, we recorded for 22 days and he was shocked it came up short.
Oh, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. Mark does not. I don't, because he's got so much passion behind the acting, but then in the talking heads, he's so like, yeah, some days we would do like 15 pages in a day,
Yeah.
and he was like, can't believe this film came together. He seemed kind of upset by it, but he's got such a passionate performance. It is odd he was so dejected.
Well, one of
by
his
it.
big things is he won't leave his state to film. Which
Marky
is
Mark?
Yeah. So his new thing at the moment is that he
What state is he in?
he's in Las Vegas.
This feels like a hangar.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at, because it doesn't really feel like a film set.
Yeah.
It's like all the talking heads in this behind the scenes are like of their like like not their cafe, their like lunchroom, and it just seems like they've hired a massive hangar. They've got one plane suspended, and that's it, and just a big blue screen. That's the film.
Because all of his, he moved there for their tax laws, and so he doesn't get taxed anywhere near as much, and neither do the films. And so he's like, if you film here, so I don't have to leave my family, I will do your movie like for cheap, but still expensive.
Yes.
And you'll be able to shoot here for cheaper than you would in any other
Is
state.
there different rules of sharing details about the film? Because I was surprised. After a very easy Google search, found pretty much the breakdown of what each thing cost for this film. I couldn't believe it. I'd never seen that on any other film, but it was like, here's the catering budget, here's what everyone got paid.
Yeah.
It was bonkers. Is that straight? And maybe for LA they've got a bit more. We'll keep it hidden, but Las Vegas was completely public.
Well, I guess because it sort of goes out, right? You've got to file it all with tax. It goes through so many hands. I guess it's just on someone to leak it. I don't know. Like, it might just be...
No, this was a government website.
Yeah,
They were
well,
just
then they maybe just have to legally put it up.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
What was the catering budget? It's usually the biggest part of any fucking budget.
It's fairly decent. It's like $100,000. I was like, that's all right. That's decent.
That's crazy. I was looking at one that a friend from uni was working on, and that had it was like $230,000 just for the budget
I'm not
of
surprised.
the catering.
Yeah, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Food, man. You gotta feed
Get
it,
your
bro.
parents to make it like a student movie. That's what you're meant to do.
Marky
Party
Mark was
pies.
like, I got lasagna for everybody. Don't worry, everyone gather around, huh?
He must have also been like, I'm not eating any of that. My home is 5 minutes away. Okay, I have like 40 people making me a meal right now.
I reckon he popped in for an hour, gave an unhinged performance, and like, "Phew, I'm going down for a nap. I'll see you guys. Well, he does wake up at 3 a.m., doesn't he? He's
You
insane.
know what must be great when you're doing a character that's so insane is you don't have to calibrate your performance day to day
Yeah.
and be like, oh, and this is page 40, so this hasn't happened. So I'm not that nutty yet because I haven't hit my breaking point.
Yeah.
But when it's an insane character, he's like, well, it doesn't matter what I filmed or where I'm going because I'm just always around here. Like,
And you say that, and then sometimes he's like, I'm at a 7. I'm at a 7.
some days he's tired. Like, it's like he's just...
It's not, I guess you could be like, oh, he got hit in the head with a fire extinguisher, but his character's kind of like, I'm always crazy.
Yeah.
But sometimes I get sleepy.
There's times when he wakes up and he's like, whoa, I'm disorientated. And other times he's like, I was only shot with a flare, so I'm big. I'm up. Yeah, let's talk about the plan.
Yeah.
Because I think this movie is because I can essentially foresee why it would be a blacklist script if it was like very perfected in the way that this thing is set up and that pays off. This thing is set up and that pays off.
Yes.
This thing is set up and that pays off. But so many things that they do don't really make sense or pay off. So, for example, Topher Grace is chained to the back.
Yep.
He is being transported to New York, right, to testify against a mob boss that he worked for.
Yeah.
I also think his character's so annoying. I think a mob boss would have killed him by now. Just
Totally.
out of sheer annoyance.
Yeah. How good of accounting can he be, really?
Yeah. He can't be that good.
Yeah.
He got caught, right? Anyway, so he sees the license of the person that should be flying the plane.
Yes.
Which is very haphazardly just been shoved under a seat. So already I think that's poor, right? Do we think that is Marky Mark's taken it down and shoved it under there, or do we think that that's just where it lives?
I think that's just where it lives. If I'm going off, and listen to me, planes and buses, very similar vehicles, except one does not fly. Most bus drivers normally have their ID just like under a seat, I see.
Yeah.
You know? So I think this is, I'm happy with this. I'm fine with this.
Well, because my thing here is Topher Grace finding out before Melanie
yeah.
has no impact on the plot.
It did feel weird because I was just like, oh, I was like, great.
It's a good setup.
It's a great. The person who's like should be untrusted and is the criminal now has to convince the cop without Marky Mark knowing that he is not the person. I'm like, wow. Immediately, I'm like, that's kind of fun. This is the first time in this. And then she's like,
But she's already clocked him.
well, she's like,
and is
you're
already
weird.
testing him.
You're weird. Okay.
He's covered in blood.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
genuinely,
that's the thing.
it's so
I feel like they're like,
clumsy.
let's keep the audience like on the hook, but also they need to know what's going on. So he's just like, he's at an 11. He's just like, I love killing dogs sometimes. You're like, okay, so vibes are weird. So I'm not going to trust you.
It does feel like that there's been some weird chopping and neutering and stuff, because, I mean, I don't want to give the original script any credit. I obviously don't know how it was or where it's going. But it feels like they set up the idea of you can't trust Topher Grace and you can't trust the pilot.
Yeah.
So she's really stuck. But they sort of go all in on the two of them becoming friends.
Yeah.
So there's no real tension there, because he's even like, I'll give you $1 million and you can
Well, that's what
leave
I
her
thought.
to die
I
and
thought
I'll
there'd
get
be
away.
a bit of just like, who do I trust? Do I go for her? Do I go for him? There's a 3-way. We all have stakes in this game. We all have motivations. Who we're going to trust? And she's like, I'm sorry, I don't. It's fine.
Because a clever script would have kept Marky Mark's character more level-headed, and we should have constantly been changing the pairing of the dynamic of the plane.
Yes.
So she's with him, and then she's with him, and then the two of them are together against her, and then sort of we get to a natural conclusion, maybe where one of them should die, or a really good 3-hander as a movie example to me is 10 Cloverfield Lane, which has John Goodman in a unhinged, tense performance, and then you've got the other two, but that dynamic always keeps changing, and that's really fantastic. Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, what a film. That is such a good one-location movie. I think any movie should model itself after that as a one-location film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just shocked that the dynamics here are very simple, and they settle within 30 minutes, so there's no tension the rest of the film.
Well, I think so, and I think that is just more of a budgetary thing of going, we actually can't have Marky Mark for the entire. We can have him for 10 minets, and even sometimes I think Topher Grace might also be like, I'm gonna do 2 weeks of filming. It feels like only the main actress can be there on set the whole time. So as a result, you've kind of got these weird angles and strange, like, oh, need to hide them for this reason. And as a result, it destroys the fun of what this film could be.
It's also entirely shot during the writers and actors strike.
Whoa, I didn't
so
know that.
They got an exemption to film.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if still potentially the guy that wrote it was maybe on the picket lines and not allowed to be present for the filming.
Yep.
So maybe he wasn't allowed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know what the go was.
Yeah.
Because they might have been able to get an exemption but not be able to change
What was the rules with the writing? Because I remember, what's his name, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds couldn't ad-lib because he was technically credited as a writer.
Yeah, that whole one shut down.
Yeah.
So there were ones that didn't get an exemption. So I think because this
But
is
more
shot-
just like, can Mel Gibson or Marky Mark be like, I'm going to say this line and that doesn't count as writing? Is that what that is?
I think the line was essentially whoever your movie was with. If they said that they were going to they were like, yeah, we're all for doing what you guys want.
Yeah.
When not one of the studios holding out, then you get an exempt. Because I think A24 was exempt.
Yeah.
They were able to shoot because they were just like, yeah, we
Yep,
back the
we like
writers and
that.
the
Yep.
actors. So
Yep.
when it's settled, we will cave.
Yeah.
And it was things like Disney, and which is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes.
So I think that was like a big one that was like,
Gotcha.
no, we can't do anything.
But Summit Pice, they were cool. Were they? Where were
yeah,
they?
they were immediately like,
What
no.
about Rocket Schmockets Studios? Were
They
they
were like,
cool?
guys, don't worry, we're not paying anyone on this set. Nobody's getting paid.
This is borderline slavery, I'll be honest. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's mainly me funneled through a slot machine. So don't worry about this. We weren't adhering to any rules anyway, so it's fine.
Did you see Sean Baker's speech yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, great speech.
Really great speech.
Yeah, I love the idea that he's like, I'm never gonna make a movie for a studio. So what am I meant to fucking do with my life?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm going to kids. I'm going to keep doing this. Come
Yeah.
on, guys, please.
Yeah.
I need this.
And the guy that made The Brutalist was like, I'm yet to make a dime from filmmaking, and this is like my third movie. So
Yeah, damn. Nah, we'll thrive though. The podcast industry can never fail though.
it can't. It can't. They've got an Ugly Betty rewatch podcast happening now, so you know it's thriving.
Did we skip over the ball reveal? Because I do think the ball reveal it might be the greatest thing in cinema.
It's a shame the trailer spoiled this.
Yeah.
So otherwise, I think I would have gone feral. But I only wanted to see the movie because he was bald, and so the entire
The film
first
does- the
third, I was like, make him bald, damn it.
Yeah.
Make that man bald.
I do understand. I feel like we'll jump back to your question about the toupee because his character is not self-conscious. He's constantly like, I don't mind if I fucking die.
Yeah.
As long as I get to skin my animals, I'm cool. But is he insecure about being bald? Because I got if he wore a hat, it'd be a bit like, oh, it's a disguise.
Well, it's not like when it falls off, she's like, "Oh my god, it's so and so."
Yeah,
like
they don't know. His motivation. I don't know if they dropped this or picked this up midway through. But he's like, "What's my name?" And they're like, "We don't give a shit. You've got a gun and a knife. It's low on the list of priorities."
yeah. I have no read on it. It seems like he should be fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like he's so unhinged, he doesn't know if he's self-conscious.
Yeah.
Like, every day he's like, oh, this morning I am a little sad about it. Like, but it's also, nobody balds the way that he's balding. Like, that's not a natural
That's
way of
bonkers.
thinning.
It's just like because I feel like if you got a bald, you got your crown, but he's got like 2/3 up, so he's kind of got like a mohawk bald spot and such a perfect god. He's an odd man.
Yeah.
He's odd to look at, and again, his head is 2 inches higher than
It's
his
like
forehead.
Mark Wahlberg's team spent hours trying to work out the amount of bald he could be, but still maybe be attractive. Like, they were like, no, if you're only a quarter back at the crown, it's fine.
It's
Your
kinda
star
hot.
power's
It's
okay.
kinda hot.
You'll go big.
Yeah.
It's fine. You'll be back in a big way, Marky. One of the things they keep doing as well in this movie is just like making Topher Grace's character really pathetic in the sense that in the opening of the movie he shits himself, and halfway through this movie he says he pisses himself.
And then he shits himself again.
Yeah,
He shits
he's so happy to announce that he's like, I've done it again. You
shit
should have put me
myself.
in a diaper.
Yeah, Marky Mark is like, did you shit? Like, he's like, I'm gonna make you shit yourself. I'm like, I already did. I pooed everywhere. I think it should be a bigger plot point. I think this plane should stink.
Really should stink. She should constantly be being like, you smell horrible.
She's like, I might sour Marky Mark because you've made this 90 minutes a hell ride. This is just a stinky mess.
Yeah.
We're up in the air. I'm stinkified.
We find out that Marky Mark has a piece of paper on him conveniently, this was horrible writing, in my opinion.
Horrible, right? This is some of the worst production design I've ever seen.
It's terrible.
It's just, all right, we've gotten a still from, I guess, an award season of the main actress.
Yeah.
We've got Topher Grace, I guess just like AI generated next to a car. And then Google House right now.
Yeah,
That's
the
what's on the
house.
piece. And it's not even like it's like with a blurb. It's just 3 on like a Word document. Just there you go.
They've dragged them in and had to right click in Word and go not in line with text.
Yeah.
Just so that they could move
Wrap
the pictures
text,
around.
so now it's free.
Yeah.
And they've gone, well, print that out, put it in his pocket, and then we're good to go.
Then he'll know what to do.
This man is insane because this is what a 3-year-old would do. Just like, I've got the evidence. Look, I've got my 3 photos.
It is. It's crazy that Topher Grace goes, that's my mum's house. There's not even an address on it. So did they give the photo to Marky Mark? And he was like, okay, I'm going to match this photo to an area.
Starts geo-guessing it, just like, oh, I see them on TikTok all the time. It's way easier when they do it. Oh, God, Nebraska. I don't know. I'm pretty confused. I'm lost. It's crazy that he was like, they know where I live. I'm like, I don't think I know where you live. It's just fucked.
Now, Michelle, like, now, what is her name?
I swear to God, her name keeps changing.
It's okay, so Madeline.
Yeah.
Madeline now has to fly the plane, okay? Everybody she calls is so calm. Nobody thinks this is a high tense situation. And again, this is the same reminder to me as why did Topher Grace find out the information before everyone and that have no impact on the plot? There is a whole period where she's trying to convince somebody that she's trying to fly a plane, and he's like, don't believe you.
Yeah.
And then his switch is like, oh, really? I guess I better help. Only for it to cut out and her go, oh, yeah, I have a phone.
What?
What the fuck was that?
Well, I think, and this is what I'm just like, either it's a leftover from the script, or they're just like, we need to fill this empty space.
It does feels like padding.
It feels like the most padding I've ever seen, because Topher Grace is out of focus in this shot, so is Marky Mark, and it's just the main actress, and she's on a phone to someone who's cheating. Like this, if you're looking at a budget, if you're looking at a shot list, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's 2 minutes, that's pretty much free. We can knock that out in an hour.
We've also, what it's doing is it's sort of cutting out the fun interaction that should be like in Die Hard, Bruce Willis and the cop.
Yeah.
So the cop is amateur thrown into a situation. But because, and it sort of feels like maybe she should be getting helped by a random pilot she has suddenly got a hold of at a radio tower. And yet she gets a hold of like the FBI and they just get in touch with a very, very competent man who never lets on that he's stressed or worried.
Yeah.
So it just feels like we've got another bland character. Whereas it should feel like we've
Talk
got
about Hassan.
Yeah, I'm talking about Hassan.
Should we get into Hassan? I like Hassan.
This isn't a real human.
No. But dare I say, in an emergency situation, I think being calm and collected. He's the only one that should be calm and collected because his job is to, oh, you're a pedestrian who's flying a plane. I can't be like, oh my fucking God, you're going to crash. You'd be like, hey, babe, how we doing?
But that's the
It's
thing
chill.
is,
It's
that's
chill.
not fun.
No, it's not fun at all.
So
it should totally be a panicky pilot who's like a
should
redneck.
Be
Who's like,
the guy that she's originally talking
Yes.
to, she has to convince him, and his whole day is ruined by trying to help
Yes.
her. That is the right plot line to go down.
Yes.
But they cancel that because she remembers she had a phone.
It is crazy. It's like, my satellite phone. That's right. Let me call the FBI. This will be sorted out in no time. I also do wish that they sort of played a bit more into there's a mole and she's trying to break down. She doesn't know who to trust. And I think she figures out pretty quickly.
Well, there's only 2 people she can't trust.
Yeah.
A man that we haven't talked to yet, or the woman she's talking to up all the time.
And we think is implied
she's a bad cop. She gets her killed.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. She is a bad cop.
Also, it's implied that they are dating or they love each other or they're best friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like at the end she's like, I loved her. It's like, oh, so you betrayed your best friend. It's odd. I feel like they should establish more, but
It's crazy she is killed.
Yeah.
It's crazy she's flat out killed. Like, she gets her killed by being like, don't trust you.
Yeah.
Horrible. She's a horrible cop. It makes you offside of her because she makes the wrong decision so quickly and goes to the guy who you're like, well, don't trust him.
Yeah.
It's just, the decisions are really like putting you against this lead character.
Totally, 100%. And like you find out later on that she has already, I think, fucked up a mission, but only because she tried to be kind to the the witness.
Yeah.
And that's like, okay, cool. So you need to learn now, maybe have a bit more distance from this. Like, nah, man, you go 100% on the witness. Whoever you've got, trust them fully. Get involved emotionally.
And that's the other thing that's also very easy writing in these situations is each one of these characters should be having a secret. But she's the only one with a secret. There's nothing to learn about the other two. Just her.
But what even is the secret, really? Because I feel like the it's like a flaring gun of like Topher Grace, like, do I trust her now? And all we find out is that she's kind.
Yeah.
And maybe she should not be on this mission because she's fucked up once. But
I guess, but in the end, that secret is what clues her into thinking there's a mole. Because she's like, you're right, I shouldn't have been hired for this.
Yes.
And that's that payoff for that little nugget of information. But there should be... Everyone else should have some information. Like, that's the thing. Like, it should... Yeah, it's just, it doesn't... Even to the point that, like, if Marky Mark was more level-headed, he should maybe even know Topher Grace. Like, just anything like that.
Totally.
Like, everyone should have a secret. It's easy writing. For example, White Lotus has just started. They've all got a secret. It's great.
I've only seen the first episode.
Yeah, same.
Oh my God, terrific.
But, yeah, it's just that great... You go, yep, fantastic.
Yeah.
Love this.
I'm intrigued. What I want to find out more, and also it affects the relationship so quickly. Because it is such like a. I feel like in all the behind the scenes, it's like it's a ticking time bomb upstairs, like up in the air. It's like that is a great idea. It's speed, but in the air. But now you're going. Well, actually, it's fine.
Yeah. And
tension's gone.
And they've gone. You can't fire your gun, or this plane's going to blow up. And you go, oh, what a great setup for the end when the gun has to be fired, and I bet this plane's going to blow up. And they're like, nope, we ran out of money.
You say that, but I swear to God, they shoot like 4 times in the plane.
Yeah, she shoots
a
him
flare
in the
gun.
stomach. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But and then at the end when she does shoot, they're like, thank God the engine's dead and there's
But
no
she
gas
definitely
left.
shot like 4 times in this film, right?
Yeah, at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the idea was if she shot him, because he's like, if you shoot me here, it's going to go through me and into the wall.
I'm zigzagging a little bit. You might miss me. She's like, I don't know. It's pretty
I'm treating
small.
you like a crocodile.
You're kind of hitting the wall. It's fine. I think I'll get you.
Yeah, so she let her last person burn alive, which I thought was pretty crazy. So, yeah, wouldn't it be crazy if she was 2 for 2 on people dying? Like, the end of the movie, she's like, wow, I fucked it again.
Do we get into... Because essentially Marky Mark's been strapped down and is like... He's been tied up, essentially.
Yeah.
He gets a little sunglasses and he's going to pick the lock, pretty much. Pick the seatbelt that's been covering. What do we think of this stab? Because I thought it was fucking amazing.
Of the stab?
Yeah.
When he stabs Topher Grace?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
I was... Every time he
I wanted more shit like this.
Totally. 100%.
Yeah.
I just thought that was so energetic. And it'd been after... I think they've been like... Man, I should have been a better IT person.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Keep the fucking death toll high. Like, this is what's great in Carry On, is how many people are getting killed throughout that movie.
Totally.
Like, just, that movie's so high octane, very silly, absolutely going for it. There should be another, 2 or 3 people up in this plane so that we can keep this body count going up, you know? It should be great. So it's when they stab Topher Grace, you're like, the ending has to be they catch him. So there's no way he's going to die.
Oh, I think that was the thing. I was like, oh my God, he's been stabbed once. Well, it's fine. He's going to make it. And then he gets stabbed a second time. I'm like, oh, he's gone. Yeah. There's no way he's making it. And they're like, what do we draw it out for a bit? I'm like, no. he got stabbed and then he took out the blade. He's gone. Yeah. Let him die.
His character says one interesting thing in this movie. And that was, I loved his one little line that I thought let you into his character when he's like, I had all the tools to not choose this life and I still did. And I thought that was a great little nugget and they do nothing with it and they don't go anywhere nuanced with it. But I thought that was a great little setup of
There's
a line.
lots of little things. Yeah. This is great. It is a shame. It is a shame because there is something beautiful here, but sadly.
Also, is there a part where it's maybe improv and the lead actress breaks? When Topher Grace is like, it's the fat dancer, and she laughs and it's like, takes the... It was odd. And it didn't look... It looked like an SNL
There's
break.
A few SNL breaks. Marky Mark, when he's getting dragged off in one of the scenes, he's fucking smiling. You can fucking see it. He's got this cheeky little grin. It's like, why am I being... I'm in a bald... I'm not... There is a few of those things. Because again, they smashed out like the whole script in 10 days or something crazy. There's a few of those. Because it is so improv. Again, I should show you the behind the scenes. It's Mel Gibson with a god mic, pretty much going, more silly.
Sillier.
Make fools threaten. Rawr. And him in board shorts, just like, you're gonna nail that.
Do you think he took this job so he could fund his Passion of the Christ sequel? Is that it?
Yeah, possibly. I think he got paid like $1 million, it seems, like,
Yeah.
just to be here. But what? Because he was passionate about that, about the sequel. It seems
He knows that's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, that first one made so much money. So many people came out and watched it.
Yeah.
Like, he knows that if he's just... The ending of that movie's Jesus rising. And... there was a review that I was watching and somebody was flat out like, when I saw that in the cinema, people applauded like it was a Marvel movie. And I'm like, that's crazy. So his self-funded Passion of the Christ movie will probably do really well.
He's back, Carl.
Yeah.
It's been, I saw a clip of him. He looks deranged, but he's got passion, and that's all that matters. He's just like, Jesus is back, and we're going to go through fucking heaven and hell. And it's going to be a goddamn hazard trip. And you better believe it'll be crazy seeing how much money that makes.
Yeah.
It'll
be funny.
It'll real reflect of how we're doing culturally.
It's because that'll probably come out and do well, and then Nolan's sort of Swords and Sandals epic will come out, and that's going to make like $1 billion as well. And then Hollywood's going to be like, people secretly want Swords and Sandals films.
Alexander 2. He's back. Troy 2. It's all the good stuff.
Everything's getting a 2 next
They're
to it.
definitely. What's the one that Superman's based off?
John Carter?
Yeah, they're just like, but should we make a second one? Maybe Sand's back in a big way.
I reckon Ridley Scott's like, damn it, I should have waited till after Nolan to make my Gladiator 2 film.
But he's already on to the next 7 films.
Yeah,
he's just like, I don't even give a shit. I've got 90 cameras. We're filming every scene, and I'm being fuck off. I got 6 more to do. I am off. He is shitting them out, and they're all okay.
He's absolutely so good. He's like, they're on time, they're under budget, and they're fine.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm doing a House of Gucci 3. We skipped 2.
It's too quick. The production's speedy.
Do we think it would be a really fun reveal if at the end of the movie that Madeline is shallow? And when she meets the guy was like, nah.
I thought the
Not
exact
interested.
same thing. Because and I really do think it's my favorite. I do really love the Hassan thing. Because I think in all, like, she's so no-nonsense, so serious. And every time they're on the phone, like, hey, Hassan.
They've
got
no chemistry
no
together.
Chemistry.
No
But
chemistry.
she's so smitten by him, like, shit, you take me out for a date? It works immediately.
Crazy, he's flat on just like, they're like, oh my god, what is this plane going down? She's like, yeah, you need to help me. And he's like, well, you give me a date if I help. Like,
I don't know. It actually might be a good tactic if you're. I mean, you might come off a bit of a perv, but like if someone's like in an emergency situation, they think, "Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking die." Someone's just like, "Do you want to go on a date after this?" It's like, "Oh, like preoccupy your brain." I kind of think is a tactic. It would be funny if she lands, and goes, "Go on that date." It's like that was just for show. You've now landed, and that's my job done. Goodbye. You're done. Hassan out.
Hassan out. He then flies away. He's like, I could have flown to you and saved you, but I didn't.
My words are my power. So pretty much, Carl, the film is wrapping up. We've been pretty much, Hassan's been like, go to the shore. There's been a lot of just like, oh my god, I didn't even think about this. There's the army like playing that's next to it. Does that even pay off by anything? No. There's a lot of things. Essentially, we're getting to the runway.
I think these are meant to be fun things so that it almost feels like Mark Wahlberg's character just needs to get out, and he's doing whatever he can to essentially get out of the cuffs.
Yeah.
And so he's like, that plane's going to shoot you down in case you crash land, so you should let me fly.
Yes.
Like he's constantly just like, let me fly.
Yeah.
But they never do it. So there's no real purpose.
There's no
to
real.
it.
I know. 100%. It feels like they've got the pieces of the puzzle, and they're like, "That's what we're gonna do." It's like, oh, I pooed on the puzzle.
Yeah.
So now it's a little sticky.
There's a part where he wants a knife actually, and it's underneath the driver's seat. And they're coming at a mountain.
Yeah.
And they need to pull up urgently. And he's saying, you don't need to pull up. And they pull up anyway. And thus he gets the knife. And then they almost crash. And the two things I couldn't understand was, why wouldn't he encourage them to pull up so he can get his knife? And why would he say it's fine when they definitely needed to pull up?
Yeah.
I couldn't understand the concept of anything that was happening in
I
that scene.
didn't either, and you are completely right. I think you've built in that the establishing at the start is just he actually knows everything there is to know about flying.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't he? Because it shows he's a bit smart, but also he's trying to get rid of it. It's like a twofold thing. Why would you leave that on the table? I think because they essentially go, he doesn't mind if he kills himself.
Yeah.
Which is bad. This is bad motivation. I know he's crazy, but like, surely he wants to kill them and then survive. It's odd because then you're just like, okay, so he doesn't even care, you know?
No, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the it's just odd that they've got a character where he's like, he's just pure chaos, but only to these two people in a plane.
But he's like random. He's like, if I get a gun, maybe I'll shoot myself. Maybe I'll blow my brains out first. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I have a whittle plan. I just don't know. Because I think his motivation is he loves to like toy and fuck around with people.
Yeah.
Do that. Don't have him just be like, I don't mind me, kill yourself.
Yeah. He should be smarter at the point of just trying to put the two of them against each other.
Totally.
The two of them are never against each other.
I don't know why he doesn't go, hey, he tried to sell you for $1 million. Maybe trust me.
Well, she heard that conversation and gets over it.
Well, Topher's like, I'm so sorry. I was just saying that. He's like, that's fine, man. We all do it.
We all do what we have to to survive.
That's what we have to do.
It's also a really quiet plane. Like, noise-wise, it's a really quiet plane.
Because the audio's like, we're not. Shut up. We're not doing.
We're not going to yell the whole film.
Yeah, okay.
They go, this is the roughest plane ever. And they're like, but it's beautifully quiet on the inside.
I got to tell you, though, we WD-40 the engine, so it's real smooth. It's real smooth.
Look, there's not a lot of stakes to the ending here, in my opinion. It's odd, too, that Marky Mark's character dies of his own accord. He falls out of the plane and is hit by ambulances that are racing towards the plane for whatever reason. I don't know why they do that.
I put the set because essentially she's landing the plane and the ambulance and cars like follow that plane. Tailgate them.
Seconds behind
because
them.
I was like, why are they doing that? I think it's only so they could have this reveal that he flies at the plane, lands, and then an ambulance knocks him out.
Do you reckon the ambulance driver is just like, holy fuck, we've killed one of the passengers?
Oh, 100%. And what would you write in the report? It's like, I was trailing the plane. Meters behind.
Why were you trailing the plane? I don't know.
How much of a relief must that ambulance person be like, I killed your friend? It's like, no, that was the bad guy. Like, oh, thank Christ.
It was the one fun part of the movie, in my opinion, was they were like, the other passenger we accidentally killed. And she was like, thank God. And they're like, oh, what?
What the hell? Okay.
What's the dynamic here?
Tense. Okay, that's tense.
Once they're all out, they then go to strangle Topher Grace's character. And the main villain on the end of the phone is like, it's me! Have you killed him? Did you kill him? I said not to use a gun. It's me! Don't incriminate me. It's me! Did you use a gun? Oh, no, you heard me?
Well, I'll send myself to jail personally. It just ends.
And then it smash cuts to directed by Mel Gibson. I would be embarrassed. I'd be like, can we get the producer credits up first?
No. I can say right now, he got paid a pretty penny to rock up in board shorts and vibe, but they said the one thing we're paying for is a big directed by Mel Gibson, and we'll hold it for 40 seconds at the end there. Everyone needs to know you were involved behind the helm. That's the payment.
You had the mic. You were the director.
Carl, who would watch Flight Risk?
Whoa. It's tough. Definitely can't really recommend it to anyone. I guess maybe if you had a few friends and you were having some drinks.
This is, I think, honestly, if you are rooting, it's fun.
I think the issue is there's long periods where it's really dull,
which is a shame. Because I think those bombastic moments really do hit. But there's about 7 of them scattered in really... Like, they are padding to the oomph degree. It's crazy. But yeah, so it's definitely a fun watch.
Yeah.
But you should maybe be playing. I'll tell you what, it's a great watch if you're also playing Scrabble in the background. Like, if you've kind of got, I'll look at my letters and I'll go back when Marky Mark's on screen. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
It's a twofer, you know?
Yeah, like, I couldn't tell you who it's for or why they've done this or why the talent has decided to be involved. I guess it's a quick shoot. Everyone makes a quick buck and the movie gets forgotten about. So who cares?
Yes.
So I don't really know. I wish it was better, even just as a bad film, just so it could cement itself. Because I think Mark Wahlberg really is giving such a enjoyably cartoonish performance.
Totally.
And it's completely bogged down by Topher Grace being so annoying, and the lead actress kind of having nothing to do but be a very, very by-the-book character.
And I feel she's from Bridgerton, right?
Yeah. And she's been good in other things.
Yeah.
And I think she's...
I'm not going to hold anybody to, like...
No.
It's... the writing, like, you can't do anything with this.
It's terrible. It's really horrible dialogue. I actually think the big thing holding the movie back is all of the phone call conversations. They're so stilted.
But doesn't it... But they're just like, we've got everyone on our focus except the main actress. And essentially, these actors on the other line, I do apologize, but they don't sound like super like it's just cheap. It's just super cheap.
I assume it's one voice. I reckon they went, can we get a voice actor to do these 11 voices? They're like, yep, for sure.
Totally.
Can you do a Hassan?
Does Hassan say anything at the end? I don't think he does.
Comes out and he's like, me.
He's like, he covers his mouth. Hey, it's me, Hassan.
The original The Guilty has some of the best voice acting I've ever heard, and that is an entire movie of just a man and a phone
What's
call.
the original? Is it a short film or is it a...
The original's just another language.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, tight.
Might just be, I don't know, Dutch?
It's always Dutch. It's always those Dutch
It
bastards.
is Danish.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's always those Danish bastards.
It's always Danish. Yeah, and that has such fantastic voice acting on it. And that movie maintains 85 minutes, the same running length of Flight Risk, to such an exciting, tense level, and it's just a phone call.
Damn.
So, what the fuck is this then?
Yeah, it really is chopped. It's such a shame because they had the good building blocks. I think if they had a smidge more of a budget, they could have maintained it, but they just lost it because it just feels like they're like, oh, this is a 45-minute movie and we can make it 90, but it's going to be across the line.
The poor writer that was like, my blacklist script's been picked up by Mel Gibson. God, I guess the world's about to open up for me. You're like, oh,
bother. Carl, who would watch Flight Risk?
Bald people. That's right. They're getting represented in a great big way, unlike anything before. Since the Die Hard movies stopped, this one's for you. Oscar, who would watch Flight Risk?
Oh, if you like plays where everything's set in one location and they don't change the background, it's also suspended in the air, you're going to love this one. Carl, who would watch Flight Risk?
If you like movies that look grey, you like a grey color palette, if you want everybody to look sort of starkly miserable. Oscar, who would watch Flight Risk?
Carl, if you watched Up in the Air and you were deeply disappointed by the premise, you're going to love this one. Carl, who would watch Flight Risk?
If you watched Jodie Foster's Flight Plan and were deeply disappointed by that, this one is for you. Oscar, who watched Flight Risk?
Carl, if you watched Plane and you were upset by that, I guess don't watch this one. You'll be pretty much the same.
You'll enjoy Plane more. That's the thing. If you hated Plane, this one's for you. Join us next week when we review another movie, To Be Determined.
To Be Determined.
Yay!
Woo!